Hey, good evening, everyone. It is May 28th, 2024, 6:03 p.m. Calling the meeting to order for the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, the Deconstruction Subcommittee of that committee for the town of Mansfield. So welcome, everybody. And we will start with a motion to approve the minutes of March 25th, 2024, which Ginny sent.
Right.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah.
Thank you, Susanna. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Aye. Okay, so the motion passes unanimously. The minutes are approved. All righty. So tonight our agenda, the next item includes the deconstruction pilot discussion based on the minutes we just approved. We talked about that back in March with some our visitors from town departments. Oh, and here comes Ted. So Ginny, do you want to get us up to speed on that?
Sure. Yeah. So I did contact Eco Building Bargains about whether they would provide a storage container for a pilot. They're still very excited about partnering with the town of Mansfield. They really like the idea. They don't have any shipping containers to offer. But the person I spoke to suggested that we use a pod. And so I did look at, hi Ted, I did look at some costs of pods. They're kind of expensive. $201 for delivery, and depending on the size, ranging from $159 a month to $239 a month. I went online just to do some checking, and there's an A.B. Richards that will rent a 20-foot storage container for $99 a month. But I'm probably skipping ahead of myself a little bit. I did ask Mark at Casella if Casella would have containers to loan. He said no. And then I said, well, what about renting? And he never got back to me. And that was a few weeks ago. So I doubt it. You know, he said that a lot of their containers are out in use. So I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't hear back from him. John Selisk from Eco Building Bargains, who I talked to, he spent a lot of time talking about donation forms. So if the town were partnering with Eco Building Bargains, would the person making the donation be making it to the town of Mansfield or Eco Building Bargains? And there was this whole conversation about that because, you know, there's these charitable donation forms that get filled out. So what was landed in that discussion was for smaller donations, forego a donation form. Somebody donating, if a contractor's donating a kitchen cabinet, it's just forego it. If they're donating like everything out of the kitchen, then they should work directly with Eco Building Bargains for a donation form. He also said that the best time to take pictures of the items that potentially are being donated is post deconstruction. So when it arrives at the transfer station, if we're using the transfer station. before it's unloaded to see what kind of condition it is in. Eco Building Bargains will come and pick up the stuff. We just need to give them about 2 weeks lead time for them to make the pickup. And then when I talked to them about what should we limit accepting for this pilot, he and another person from Eco Building Bargains said use the Eco Building Bargains acceptable list, which I have, and I can share it with you. It's, you know, a pretty comprehensive list if you want to see it. He didn't think it was worthwhile limiting items. He thought, you know, whatever Eco Building Bargains accepts, you know, for this pilot, we should too. And then in terms of length of pilot, he said a minimum of 6 months and maybe even extend it to a year. So at the last meeting, I was to check on, you know, supplying a container. I didn't call the Reconstruction Center. They're out of New Britain just because they're all volunteer. Like they have no paid staff. They're just people that are really committed to this, winging it and you know, spending whatever time they can, their free time to do the labor. So I didn't think it was even worth reaching out to them. And we had also discussed, you know, if we're doing this, to reach out to contractors to see who'd be interested in participating. So that seems like it'd kind of be the logical next step. And it was suggested looking at building permits to identify the contractors doing work in town. So, but that's the information I gathered. If you want to look at the list, I can share that with everyone if you want me to do that right now.
Yeah, you emailed it too. I'm taking a look. Do others want to look at it on the screen?
Or did you get a good sense of what is acceptable?
I
Yeah, why don't you
printed it out.
Oh, okay. So you looked at it. Did you get a chance to, Ted and Suzanne? All right, let's look at it on the screen quickly. It's pretty quick. It's a nice
Yeah, it is.
format.
Okay. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And all right, so I'm just gonna minimize this. So from the kitchen, lots of things. And he even said that if something isn't on the list, they're still, you know, they're open to negotiating, you know. So from the bathroom, some pretty typical stuff. Windows, doors, furniture, flooring. So I mean, it's a pretty good list to work with.
Yeah, it makes it easier, as you said, like just use their list, which we'll have to.
Yeah,
Yes.
recreate something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there something in there about like faucets and things, but it has to be after 1996? I thought I saw something there and I was wondering,
Faucets from the bathroom, not manufactured before 1996.
okay.
That
Do you-
might be water efficiency. I don't know.
It
Yeah,
has to
maybe.
do with the lead-free component.
Oh, it does.
Okay. Yep. And the same with kitchen. Yep. Okay.
All
Yep.
right.
So that was a lot of research, Ginny. Thank you. What do folks think? Questions, comments, observations?
Well, I guess the cabinets, they don't want particle board, which, you know, that's probably the cheaper stuff, you know, the cheaper cabinets and stuff like that are oftentimes particle board, and they want, you know, solid wood or solid metal, I guess. Okay. So you'd have to know what you're looking at. You know, when you look at the cabinet, because oftentimes they have like a veneer on top of the particle board, you know, so you have to kind of look more than just the outside of the cabinets, I would imagine, you know, just to be sure to rule out particle board, but, you know, underneath the veneer covering on top. So, okay. But it's a clear list. I mean, it gives, I would think, enough detail to know what is and what isn't acceptable, you know. So, now obviously they have experience in this, so, you know, which is nice to know that, you know, they know what they're looking for and what they're not, you know, willing to accept. So, yeah, okay.
And apparently they have, and Lynn, you and Chris have shop there, right? And a long time ago I went up there, but haven't in a long time. But apparently they do have material turning over.
Mhm.
Like there is
Oh, yeah.
a market for it. So it's not like it sits in a warehouse and accumulates dust. So that's exciting. So if we were to do this pilot, then there are some logistical things to work out. It seemed like John was the director of public works, was amenable to doing this at the transfer station. You know, it seems to make the most sense.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed to me like of all the things you reported on, the cost of the pod is a lot.
Yeah.
So everything else seemed like great answers, but I don't know how we
Yeah.
would deal with that.
Right. I don't know if anybody has a better suggestion on a container that could be rented or, you know.
Well, they're gonna come and pick it up for free,
Mm-hmm.
and they put it in their truck, like the truck we see on the
Yeah.
front of the brochure.
Yeah.
So it's just a storage place.
Yeah.
And we know the transfer station doesn't have space in the building, right? But it doesn't have to be something that has to be moved. Is that right?
Um, you know, I'm wondering the one bay of so where the office is, when you come into the transfer stations, the building to your right, there's an office and there's space for 2 bays for equipment.
Hmm.
And when I've done the pre-order sale for compost bins, I've put the delivery in the one bay. It would probably not go well. I mean, you know, anytime I've been in there, that bay is empty.
Ah.
I'm wondering, you know, but
Same for me.
yeah, you've
Yeah,
seen it, right? Like, could we
Yep.
just,
it's a pilot.
it's a pilot, it's
We're
short
not taking
term,
over forever.
I'd
and
imagine the only concern they may have is, you know, parking a snow removal vehicle in there. So if you limit the pilot to you might have to limit their pilot to, timing like that, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen anything parked on that side.
Well, no, yeah, you know
Ever.
more about it than I do.
Uh,
Susanna, do you remember what was there and back in November and December when we were banging nails and screwing screws?
Well, I was just in
Yeah,
your well, your
right.
container, and I never saw inside where the
Yeah.
office is and the two bays are. So I have no,
Yeah, and the only bay that would open is the one on the left for the loader.
yeah.
are you talking, like Jenny, you said, when you drive into the transfer station, it's that building on the right? I mean, it's behind, where you put,
Put your trash. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. The trash and your recycling stuff, and it's that building there. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in that building. I thought, Ted, that maybe you were talking about, the building that your container is next to. No. Okay, so I have nothing to contribute in that sense. Never saw that other building, never been in it. So,
Okay.
Well, I mean,
All
it
right.
seems like presenting it, um, you know, John, we were gonna look into stuff. Carrington, we could let him know that, this is the pricing, or, if there was a no cost solution at the transfer station, that'd be awesome. I mean, yeah. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Huh.
All right, I'll do that. Yeah. Um, so the other, so that's probably one hurdle. The other might be, so if we get some contractors who are interested in this, then when they have some items, are they gonna call us? Are they going to bring it to the transfer station and have the staff members there then take pictures, unload it? I mean, that's
hmm.
you know, like how does that work? I mean, logistically.
Like, as long as I'm not involved, probably got a good chance of getting some help there.
Uh, yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean, we're not going to know how well used this is until we start asking. Maybe the place to start, rather than figuring that out now, maybe the place to start is contacting contractors and asking them
Right.
what would
Right,
make this viable,
right. Build the ways.
short of coming to your construction site, wherever that is. How could we make this work as a pilot?
Yep. Build the wave in front of any other the more detailed issues. Because they're probably not going to say, you know, day two after you talk to them, hey, I got a truckload of stuff. They're only going to say that if they happen to be at the beginning or that part of the job.
Right.
So it's going to take a while to trickle down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if there's the interest, then you say you bring that interest to the next steps.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, maybe we start with John Carrington first to make sure we got the go ahead, and then can reach out to contractors.
Yeah. And
I mean, we originally envisioned just contractors, but now when you look at the list of accepted materials, it could be that someone who's working on their own property might want to contribute if it's easy. But I don't know if that's, yeah, maybe it's just more word of mouth or something. I don't know. Like,
Right, it would also be, we would only know if they come in and request a building permit, right?
hmm,
You know what I'm saying? So we won't know until they've been issued a building permit. And that might be harder with a do-it-yourself situation,
yeah.
But, so I don't know how we could, how would we tie that in,
And there's no guarantee that they're going to be getting a building permit either.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, that's my
You're
point.
working on your home, yeah.
And
But,
Yeah.
it may not, for a sink, it may not,
Right.
need a building permit because it comes under under repair.
Mm-hmm.
You had to replace the faucet anyway, but the sink is good, for example.
Yeah. So maybe we just keep it simple. It's a pilot.
right,
well, maybe it's a combination of both.
Mhm.
It's talking to contractors and then maybe keeping an eye on the permits that are issued and contacting those individuals to let them know that we're doing this pilot, and
It could be could be a flyer that comes with the building permit.
Mhm.
It's all pretty much electronic, so I don't know, that might be a little bit more effort, but
Trying to get those guys to put it on the website.
yeah, so flyer.
and that would hit contractors or remind contractors as well who pull permits.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so the next step is to talk to John about just the cost of a rental of a container, and can he think of a no cost?
Free bay at our
Yeah,
transfer station
right. Um,
for a short-term pilot.
Yeah,
right.
I would approach him as, just as a status report. Hey, we, in order to get this pilot going, we need to have we need to spend money on a container unless there's one hanging around at the school like we got for the electronics. And otherwise, we're gonna reach out to the contractors out there and, don't make it an issue yet.
Hmm.
And if the contractors don't pull through, then, then we're dead in the water. But, with electronics, I went out and quoted buying a container and came up with the numbers, and somehow the town came up with those containers. And I'm not saying that, I'm not suggesting that, that's the game to play, if you will. It's just that, if you gain the momentum with the contractors, it might make some of the obstacles a little bit more manageable, or a little bit more, less intimidating if if the people who make the decisions know that they have that support in the community.
Are you saying, Ted, to before talking to John, talk to some contractors to see if they'd be willing to participate, and then
Well, I mean,
present it to
no,
uh,
well,
pre-
that's one way of looking at it. But the way it sounded like the road that we were going on was we were kind of we're gonna tell John, look, we got, seriously, we got this obstacle in front of us. I wouldn't even treat it as an obstacle. Hey, we reached, we accomplished this milestone. We found out that it's going to cost this, and this to get a container. We're going to need a container. If you got any ideas for a cheaper way of doing it, let us know. But our next step is going to be to reach out to the contractors and just give it to them as a status report. Not,
I see.
yeah, not as a, oh, here, we have to answer this question. We don't, here's what we found so far.
Okay.
We'll talk to the contractors, see if, what their interest is. Now he's got some time to mull it around, maybe talk to Scott and Brian, without making it an issue.
Yeah. Okay.
And then once hopefully anyway, we get momentum from the contractors, then you can go back and say, yeah, we got momentum from the contractors. We need $20 for a container. Now what? And then you can, make the issue for the container or the space. And then we can keep an eye out for that space. So nobody tell anybody that we're looking for that space.
Although this is all being recorded, Ted, and it's public information.
I hope John understands.
I'm sure he would. So yeah. Okay. I'll just, present it as a status report. So next steps, other than me talking to John, giving him an update.
Well, put together a list of contractors that we are gonna contact and see what comes out of that. And the positive thing we can say is that, they will, if and when we get a space and we get stuff that, it will be picked up within 2-week period. And, they will come with the van and they will load it up and they will take it, and that's not costing us anything. So kind of the what's free. And but so far we haven't been able to kind of, that the container is is an expensive endeavor, and, you know, so I don't know if he will then, you know, say if there any space there that we could use for the pilot, you know. But like, I know you said that they had said that the pilot should be at least 6 months, if not a year, correct?
Well, he was, I think, suggesting that it takes a while to get momentum.
Yes.
So, and like Ted had mentioned, you know, we can talk to these contractors, and if they're interested, nothing might, you know, nothing might appear on their work. So that is worth salvaging. So, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what we will find out in a pilot, right?
Right.
But there, I did make a list, and I know you can't read that. That just looks like foreign language. But and some of us did contact contractors. I mean, I'd be willing to contact the people I had before contacted and
Yes.
talk to them.
Yeah, I think I talked to, I think you and I basically spoke mostly, right?
Yeah.
I contacted, I had a number, well, we had a list with a number of names, and I actually got responses from definitely 2, maybe 3 people, but I'd have to go back to my, you know, my notes
Yeah.
and my minutes, and I don't have them with me right here. So, but I'd be willing to, you know, contact those same people.
Okay.
Because they were interested, you know, they were definitely not saying, well, no, you know, I don't have time for that or anything like that. So, so we
Okay.
could maybe write that down as an action step.
Yeah, that sounds great. Do you need thank you both for offering to do that. Do you need like a kind of an outline of what you're gonna tell them? Or we're trying to gauge interest, right? And start to do some outreach.
Right. I think, you know, since we have the list of acceptable materials, acceptable things, you know, we can use that when we talk to the contractors. I seem to recall that they, at least the 2 of the people that I spoke to, said that they would, you know, be interested in participating in something like that, you know. And then we got into like, where is it going to be? They had the same questions, like, where do we bring this stuff? And, you know, so we kind of would need to, but then that's stuff that we can't totally commit to until we find that we have a space, you know, where that stuff can be brought.
Well,
And we could even ask, sorry, Ted.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said, we could even ask, like, do you have any sense of how much material, say, over the last year that you might have brought, you know, to the designated place? Or, you know, is it really minimal? Or, you know, they might have a sense of how much stuff they over the past year or whatever, you know, of jobs that they had in town, they would have brought, you know. I know some of them took the stuff that they thought what could be reused and actually stored them at their own homes, you know. So but if there is a place to take it, then, you know, I would imagine that that would be something that they would like to, unless they want to hang on to it themselves to use in a future job. But, you know, so maybe just ask some questions in regards to that, you know, like how much do they think potentially they would have been able to contribute to this pilot, you know? And, you know, we can give them the list so that they kind of know what, you know, what is and what is not acceptable. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I agree. But right at the beginning, I mean, right now, we pretty much know that it's gonna be at the transfer station. It's probably gonna be at minimum a 20-foot container, right? So you can make us sound more, you know, convincing, more positive that, and I know this is for public distribution, but you know, if you go in saying, you know, right now our plan is to secure a 20-foot container and do it at the transfer station. Still a lot of things to be worked out, but you know, rather than approach it from the, well, we don't, you know, we're not sure about things. Do you see what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Be a little more affirmative and assertive in,
Yeah.
you know, optimistic.
Well,
what-
would it make sense to even wait until we get an okay? And then, because we've already talked to it's the same contractors, so they already know we've been thinking about it. So we're not getting a lot of new information, except, yeah, maybe quantities of these specific things, but we could just, if we waited and then called them and said, hey, guess what? It's a go. It's going to start in this month. It's going to be at the transfer station. All you need to do is bring your stuff there. There's no cost to you, whatever. Like, maybe it's, I don't know, is there a reason we would need to talk to them before that, I guess? Because it's a lot of work to call everyone.
well, we didn't have a huge number of contractors that, you know, as far as I can remember, Ginny, I mean, we had a list, but there was only so many of those people that we were actually able to get a hold of and then spoke to about this. So,
Yeah. Um, hmm. Well, I guess I was thinking, but you know, it might not make sense to do it this way, but I was thinking that if we weren't clear on process, then maybe the contractors could provide guidance um, on that. But maybe Ted, to your point, and yours, Lynn, is lay it out, talk to contractors. This is when it's starting. We'd like some participants. You know, if you're doing a job in Mansfield and you see materials that are salvageable, bring them during transfer station hours. I mean, just tell them how it's going to work instead of asking them, because they are busy people too. So,
right,
you know, maybe they don't want to be sitting around trying to figure this out for us.
right.
I don't know. Do you guys agree with Lynn's suggestion?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Would someone have the time or be, well, maybe well, maybe it's something that I can do to look at building permits to see, like, get an idea of who's doing jobs in town. So probably that would probably be better if I did that in-house. I'm thinking, yeah.
Can we see building permits?
I don't know.
As the
I know
public?
nothing about, yeah, the town building permit process. Why are you, what are you
I,
thinking?
I'm thinking no. I think I asked this question before, but, anyway.
Well, maybe behind the
we-
scenes as a staff person, I
Right,
could, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Well, it's FOIA-able, not that we would want to do that, but it's public information, right?
Yeah.
Town business. Um, but whether it's publicized, I don't think a FOIA is a way to go. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying that.
it's
should be looked-
that and, you know, who has access and the tools and things like that, as I remember, but. And I think, um, yeah, I'll look to see if I have anything in my notes. I don't have didn't bring my stick home. So, I'll have to look tomorrow.
Okay. But I'll check also.
Yeah, I had some emails or discussions going. Anyway, I'll check tomorrow and send you what I have, if I have anything.
Okay.
I mean, Ginny, if you find out that it's online and there's just a link, then others could, others could help perhaps easily searching through it for a given period.
Okay. Yeah.
But are we, Jenny, are we only dealing with, well, obviously only dealing with jobs that are done in the town of Mansfield, but
Yeah.
are we also, I mean, because there could be outside contractors, but those we wouldn't talk to, we wouldn't involve in this, or would we?
I think what you had discussed, and maybe not everybody was present during that discussion, was that the materials should come from Mansfield jobs,
Right.
not
But I'm
Mansfield
asking,
contractors doing outside work, outside of town work.
right. So we're talking about contractors who live in Mansfield. That was kind of my question. Or are we looking for any contractor who's doing a job in the town of Mansfield?
The last two big projects we had done were done by three projects by outside Mansfield contractors.
Right. Yeah, I would think that would be more typical.
Right.
So,
Because I think
yeah.
our original list was just Mansfield contractors that we came up with. Remember, you
Right.
gathered the names and then we divided them up and
Yeah.
contacted them. So, okay.
Yeah. Yes, it was. And then yes, that
Okay.
was the list originally. But
Right.
So I just got on the town of Mansfield building department and there was a building permit portal. And you could search by like name or property, but you could also just put in a date. So I just put in selected year to date and it comes up with 1 to 5 of 331 entries of building permits. So it's the owner's name, the permit number, the permit date. I'm just going to click on one to see if you can kind of tell. Permit number, owner name. Yeah. So for example, Sun Rolling Hills LLC, 528, new 26-foot 8-inch by 60-foot manufactured HUD code home with sewer connect, blah, blah, blah. So there's a brief description, the location, and the owner. So you're gonna, I guess it's available. It just like, it would take some, a little bit of searching to pick out which ones are, yeah, relevant
Does
maybe.
it on there say like who's doing the work?
Contacts. Foreman has a name, Yankee Oil. For this, this is a different one I'm looking on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I see. So this is a tank, oil tank replacement. So it does have Yankee Oil listed there.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. Yep, Star Roofing, Rising Star Roofing for roofing system. It seems to under contacts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is at
It
least
is
a
available
database you
then.
can search on, yeah. Yeah,
But do people need a permit to deconstruct? So that wouldn't be a building permit unless, of course, they're tearing something down and then rebuilding something, you know, do you think do people need permission to
To demolish, yes.
to demolish something? Okay,
Yes.
okay,
well, for example, here's one near my neighborhood. Cost to remove existing roof shingles on home and install a complete new roofing system, blah, 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 blah. Then it gives details. So, I mean, this is both the removal and the construction.
okay.
But yeah, I think playing with this a little bit could probably figure it out, but you're probably gonna have to go through them one by one. And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty quick. Anyway,
Okay. So it is available information. Yeah,
yeah.
public information. Yeah,
So potential lists could be built from that.
Yeah. I mean, if you talk to the staff, they probably have other ways to search. So maybe they do have filters like
Yeah.
deconstruction, construction, so you don't have to go through each one.
Right.
But the public one doesn't seem to have any other filters.
No, it doesn't.
Permit number, permit date, owner, but nothing about like permit type. Unless APN number, the permit number, unless they have a system
Mm-hmm.
that everything between these numbers are a certain type of project, but it's not clear.
Okay.
Yeah, here's another roof removal. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Got some next steps. If again, Ginny, if you find that it's just this and you want to split it up and have people look through them, it'd be pretty easy if we split it up. We would just need to figure out what dates we want. So there's 331 permits listed on this thing for January to May 28th, 2024. So we'd have to kind of, you know, decide how far you want to put the search date in, and the number, of course, will grow. But
Okay, yeah, I'll check about if there are any filters that staff has that could just filter out the roof repairs or septic sewer
Yeah.
hookups, because there's a lot of that going on too,
right.
from building construction, deconstruction. And then if they do have that and it's still a pretty big list, then I'll ask for help and we'll split it up like you suggest by date. So who who of this group would be available to do that? Katie? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I
Um,
could help with a few. I could do a little help.
Okay. All right.
There's
Um,
one permit for the town of Mansfield to install 2 dual port EV charging stations.
oh,
That's good. At the town garage.
great. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
23 Clover Mill Road, DPW town garage. Yeah, that is good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, next meeting date, I think we're to that point, right?
Yeah, there are 4 Mondays in June. And so, do you want to go with the last Monday of the month, June 24th? 6 p.m.
Okay. Yeah,
That works for me. It works for Susanna. Ted's shaking his head. Katie shaking her
Okay.
head. Sounds
All
like
right.
we got it. 6 o'clock on the
As far as I
24th.
know, yes, I could do it.
Okay. All right. So we'll get answers to everything for June 24th. That should be doable.
Yeah, that should be doable. And this is
Mhm.
exciting. We're getting there.
Yep. Inch by inch.
Great.
It's a cinch.
So in the meantime, those of you, one last announcement, I guess. Those of you on SWAC, Ted and Susanna, should have gotten an invitation, right, for the Sustainability Committee's meeting on June 12th, in person at the town hall where we're talking with other committees about sustainable CT. So if you're able to make that, that would be fantastic.
And you can either register with me or go to the link in that invitation and register. We just need to know because we're serving a light dinner from 5:30 to 6.
Ah, how about that?
Yeah, local food. So,
If I got the invitation, do I need to, but I'm on sustainability, do I need to register with you? Or
yeah,
register
just
now?
yeah, head count. So I'll put you
Okay.
down right now and
Put myself and Al down.
Oh,
okay.
can you put me down too, Ginny? Save us
Yeah.
a step. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Will you be coming, Ted, do you think? It's a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday. It's in between Jeanette's retirement stuff, so we'll have to chat about that.
Okay. How about you, Susanna?
yeah, why, you can put me down and, you know,
Okay.
should there be some problem, then I'll get in touch with you, but as of now,
Okay.
should,
Excellent.
Yeah.
should Bill attend?
Yeah, he's on the sustainability committee. So, yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all for a head count, and also figuring out like which committees are represented and then how many people need to be supporting those committees, right? Lynn?
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
hands-on work with them, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got our next date. I think we are ready to adjourn. Katie's moving to adjourn. I assume there's no opposition to that. All
Nope.
right,
Okey-doke.
great.
Very good. Take care.
Good. Thanks,
All right.
everyone. Thank
Yeah,
you, Ginny,
thank
so
you.
much for doing all that research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Yes,
All right,
very good.
take care,
All right.
everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
bye-bye.
Lynn, before
Yes.
you get off, Lynn, could I, and you can stay on too, Susanna, if you want, but
Sure. Do you want to
um,
stop recording or is this related to?
oh,
the-
yes, I do.